I didn't come by this idea honestly. It wasn't an original thought that struck me one day. Dudes have been discussing it for a long time. Around campfires, in smoke jumper bases, in hunting camps, in hangars, parachutists, sheep hunters, mountain enthusiasts. Anyone who has ever stared at a topo map and wondered what it would be like to drop into a place no one else could reach. The preparation for the first airborne expedition took 18 months from idea to execution. During that time, I had to find a suitable location and scout it by air. I also had to source an appropriate aircraft and figure out how to safely get my hunting and rafting gear to the ground. All this preparation was almost as fun as the expedition itself. When the day finally came, after multiple postponements due to terrible smoke that year, I felt more prepared than ever. The flight with the pilot and the flight engineer was pure bliss. I had never seen such country, with glaciers and alpine lakes aplenty. Parachute operations into the drop zone went exactly as we rehearsed. But I did breathe a huge sigh of relief when the cargo parachute for my rifle and glass deployed as intended. When I hit the ground and was finally alone, 70 miles from the highway, I felt like I was walking on air. I knew immediately that the beauty of this valley would ruin all other places for me. Everywhere you looked, there was a glacier, a waterfall, or both. I then set about securing my cargo and getting a lay of the land. My first night in camp was met with a storm from hell. Tropical downpours, rock avalanches, echoing thunder that rattled my lungs, and frequent lightning that burned my retinas, or at least that's how it felt. The valley itself was very accommodating for backpack hunting, with a big wide open spaces and plenty of visibility. I was always on the lookout for Grizz, but frankly the only time he would be getting the drop on me would be in the thick alder or on a narrow trail along a noisy riverbank. I found some nice rams early in the trip, however I was too aggressive, and when I made my move and slid into position above him, a beautiful dark banana head damn near stepped on me, and that was it. The band was up and gone. I knew better than to charge in like I did, but considering the basin I was in, it was probably for the best. It certainly would have killed me getting him out of that spot solo. The decision to go in solo was not one I made lightly, especially considering the raft out. I was taking calculated risks that I wouldn't recommend. I was also a bit nervous how I would perform out there by myself. But as it turned out, I will forever look back on this as the best 2 weeks of my life. I felt like a kid living out a superhero fantasy. If you've ever thought it would be fun to go to a wild place by yourself and haven't done so, I recommend it. Just know you don't have to jump out of an airplane to enjoy it. Eventually, it was time to leave the valley, which was surprisingly somber. The portage and river journey held many unknowns. The exodus from the drop zone to the highway took only 2 days, even though I had budgeted 3. I knew what I was getting into, but the river was very straight and mostly a rapid. No flat spots and a constantly descending horizon. In other words, it had no chill. Arriving at the highway to meet my dad, I was at a loss for words. How do you describe such an experience when nobody else has lived it? The intent for this expedition was to be a one-time event, but I realized it was just the genesis of a new method of mountain access.
Wow! Holy. Holy shit. I think that might be the world's first solo, self-sustained, parachute in, raft out sheep hunt, and that matters to no one but me. But it's 18 months of hard work, no ram, for the absolute adventure of a lifetime.
Having returned from 2023 with all my fingers and toes, a plethora of crazy adventure stories, and photos of a big rams, Recruiting my smoke jumper bros was easy. When I warned them of the risks and the immense difficulties we would face, they laughed it off in true smoke jumper fashion.
Oh, I dropped my shirt.
Oh no, he dropped his shirt.
Little did they know I'd be the one laughing later saying, I told you this would be hardcore. Naturally, the days and weeks leading up were filled with preparation, training, and parachute practice closer to town. Like in 2023, this was no time for sloppy work or half measures. Okay, you were in your harness. Have a good job.
All right, nice knowing you, boys.
One cannot convey the beauty of these mountains through text or videos. You simply have to see it from the air.
Down Valley View.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh! See ya!
Yes, sir.
We were set to jump into the same location as 2023, and the parachute operations went smoothly. This time we were spoiled with near perfect weather.
The boys are in.
The boys are in. Woo! How does that feel?
Brother. That went well, though. So well.
It felt funny being back in the valley. It felt like coming home, and the boys were fired up. Only Lee had sheep hunted before. Max never had, although he is an extremely accomplished hunter. And Liam had never been so much as grouse hunting, though he proved to be a natural sheep hunter within days. We reveled in the 30-degree heat, tarps off in the drop zone for the rest of the day, getting the lay of the land, discussing plans, and getting very sunburned. We began scouting the next day, splitting into teams with light packs, rubbing our fresh sunburns. We worked the valley systematically, sometimes together and sometimes in separate teams. For a few days, we saw not a single sheep, but everything else, which naturally led the boys to glass more and hike harder.
Okay, my prediction for when we get up there. Because I think you have it in your head that it's hardcore and we're going to have to come down and around. I think we're going to get up there, chill for a couple hours. We're not going to see anything tonight. First thing tomorrow we'll be up. And I bet you 100, 150 yards below us. They just feed their way into the view. shoot him. Just hike on back to camp. It's gonna be all easy and shit. That, or we're gonna see one down in the valley here before we can start going up. It's just gonna be like easy, but we're not gonna do a single hardcore thing.
Early in the valley, the expedition took on an aura of success through sheer camaraderie and teamwork. Whenever the boys asked, "Where are the Rams?" I would say, "Don't worry, boys, it's going to happen."
Yeah, we should go up that mountain and scale the glacier, and then we'll shoot a big one.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. I love that plan.
Let's do it.
I love you.
Around this time, we made our first real mistake. We knew there was potential for severe thunderstorms, like the one I had experienced in 2023. Yet we set up camp on a very exposed ridge, well above the timberline. Looking down into the valley, I could see multiple small burn scars from previous strikes below us. Mother Nature loves putting optimistic young men in their place, and she did just that. When Zeus starts throwing spears at you and your friends with nothing more than a tent fly for cover, you learn real lessons in humility. They say there are no atheists in a foxhole. I would say the same thing about being caught in a lightning storm on a ridgetop in the Northern Rockies.
Where are you, Scott? Hiding from the Rams. I don't know how we didn't get seen, but somehow they didn't see us. Probably because it was raining. Axel and Lee are on their way up. And then Axel can take over, and if he up, it's not on me.
Exactly.
In the second half of the hunt, we started bumping into two bands of rams in one corner of the valley. They never busted us once, but we did have to shag ass out of their locale on 2 occasions due to unfavorable wind direction. On the morning of our last hunting day, we found them in a great stalking position, ironically in the same basin where the banana head busted me in 2023. The stalk was as it should be, down the valley, up and around the far ridge, then over the top. Near the end of that stalk, fate intervened and I was again spotted by a young ram, but this time he didn't take Daddy with him. We successfully harvested a beautiful 10-year-old broomed ram, and we were damn lucky to recover him after my less than perfect shot sent him flying off the ridge, just managing to hang up at the last possible spot before being lost forever. While we had hunted until the buzzer and were now successful, it was not going to be a simple pony ride or walk to the truck to get home. We had 3 days to transport our ram, our gear, and ourselves down a long portage and a wild river, so the fellows could get some rest at their day jobs jumping fires. In 2023, I had extensive whitewater training. In 2025, the boys did not have that luxury. It would be on-the-job training all the way, starting with how to hold a paddle and progressing to more complicated maneuvers like piloting a 275-pound boat through narrow gaps with certain death on all sides. This was a serious liberty to be taking with your friend's safety. However, I was right. They were indeed capable. They learned quickly, adapted, overcame, and by the end of our time on the river, they proved to be valuable as whitewater professionals. Along the way, Lee's dry suit sprang a leak, but to his credit, he pushed through. By the time we reached the takeout, we were completely exhausted, and Lee was definitely hypothermic. We administered first aid, gathered our gear into the truck, and of course, drank beer with the Airborne Ram. I always find the passage of time striking in the mountains, especially in the sheep basins of the Northern Rockies. These hard-to-reach areas were far from the trade routes of the indigenous peoples, and few visited those hills until the construction of the Alaska Highway. When you sit on a ridge, hearing the mountain drone and watching the wildlife, you can't help but think that this is how it has always been here. We have the immense privilege to see and enjoy these wild places, but with that privilege comes great responsibility to advocate for the wildlife and the land, ensuring it remains as it has always been, wild. It meant a great deal for me to put my hands on this ram. It was many years in the making. As with all great adventures, the journey is as enjoyable as the climax. I put myself in situations where I had to learn new skills and polish old ones. I stepped out of my comfort zone many times and had the chance to push my friends out of theirs. I sincerely hope that if you've made it this far, our story will inspire you to do the same. It is incredibly rewarding to set your sights on an impossible dream and pursue it relentlessly. As any seasoned hunter will tell you, if there's lead in the air, there's hope. Airborne.